here are the top 3 things that you want to do after you've had carbs on keto. Welcome back to the Keto series, and today we're going to be talking about the top 3 things that you want to do after you've had carbs on keto. So if you've had a little bit of a cheat meal, you couldn't resist the temptation to say no to a particular carb, or somebody forced you to have some carbs, then here are the top 3 things that you want to do right after you've had it. So number 1 is don't make a big deal out of it. Okay, so stressing about food is just gonna make you more stressed, and it's just gonna snowball, and it's gonna turn into a bigger thing. So the number 1 thing you gotta do is just realize, okay, I just had some carbs. It's not that big of a deal. You can just get back on track immediately. Okay, so if you've been doing keto for let's say the minimum requirement of 6 weeks, and you have a cheat, or you've been doing it for 4 weeks, you're not going to undo all the hard work that you put in the last couple of weeks. It's not going to be undone with just one meal. You are going to see a little bit of an increase in weight depending on the amount of carbs that you've had. Most of that increase in weight is just going to be carbs that are going to be absorbed by your body. It's like a sponge effect. You're drying yourself of carbs. You have some carbs. Depending on the amount of the water you put into the sponge, the larger the effect that's going to be. So your body just has to get rid of them. So there's going to be a little bit of a weight gain. So do expect that, but it's not fat. You're not undoing all the hard work that you put in, all the weight you've been losing. It doesn't happen with just one meal. So the very first thing to do is to not make a big deal out of it, and realize that it's okay. It happens to everybody. It happens to all of us when we're doing keto. Nobody can stay on keto 100% of the time. And if somebody tells you that they do, then they're lying to you. Now, yes, you do want to aim to, of course, be as consistent with keto as you can, but the worst thing you can do is, like I said at the beginning, is stress, because stressing is just going to make things worse, and essentially it's just going to put you into like a weird, I see this a lot, where it's going to put you into like a weird mental funk where you're like, well, I already messed up, I might as well keep on messing up. I'll just wait until Monday to start. Say that you have a cheat meal on Friday, I'll feel better then. No, just don't make a big deal out of what you just had at the moment. If you have a little bit more later, it's totally okay. Simply get back on track. All right, number 2 is to do intermittent fasting. Okay, now ideally, if you're doing keto, I would highly recommend that you do intermittent fasting with keto anyways. But if you're somebody that likes to wake up, have a meal, first thing in the morning, the best thing to do, or thing number 2 to do after you've had carbs, is the next day, or even possibly, again, depending on how big the cheat meal was, and you'll be the judge of that. If you feel like the cheat meal was pretty brutal, then for the next 2-3 days you want to fast. You want to essentially go as long as you can without eating, and then break your fast and have a keto friendly meal, of course. Now the reason behind this is fasting helps with the production of ketones in your body, which is going to help you get into ketosis a lot quicker. So that's not to say that if you have breakfast in the morning and it's keto breakfast, that you're not going to produce ketones. You definitely are, but fasting does it at a faster rate. Not to mention that we're trying to get rid of the carbs that you had. So by doing intermittent fasting, your body's going to use the sugar, the glucose that's stored, the glycogen that's stored in your muscles. It's going to be used a lot quicker, and so you can get into ketosis faster. So thing number 2 to do is make sure that you practice intermittent fasting. If you gave in to a piece of donut and you don't do intermittent fasting in the first place, then just do it for one day. Do it the next day. Just skip breakfast, skip your first meal, and then start after that. If you had a little bit of a bigger blowout, like a barbecue, and marshmallows, French fries, that sort of thing, then do it for the next 3 to 4 days. And like I said, that's a way to fix, or that's thing number 2 to do. But I would also recommend that if you're already doing keto and you want to see the quickest, most efficient, results, practice intermittent fasting. It's not mandatory, but it can work wonders for you. It's also going to help you, control your appetite a lot better, and it doesn't take long to get used to it. Intermittent fasting, a lot of people have the idea that they're going to get dizzy and they're going to have these weird symptoms because they're skipping breakfast, and a lot of that is just it's just all in your head, especially if you're already doing keto. So try to practice that. Again, if it doesn't work for you, don't force it. But intermittent fasting is a fantastic thing to pair up with keto to see quicker results. All right, number 3, and this one kind of goes back to the previous point, which is the underlying tone of the previous point is to, get your ketone production, going faster. So this one is similar to that one, except that we're doing it through food. So for the next couple of days, and if possible every single day, have some MCT oil. So MCT oil is great because the MCT oil goes straight to your liver to be converted into ketones. So then your body knows it's getting like the ball rolling as far as like, okay, it's ketone production time, fat burning time. So make sure that you include some MCT oil for the next couple of days after you've had some carbs, because that's going to help you produce ketones a lot faster. Now I do want to add a little bit more to this one. So again, we're trying to add more ketones. So yeah, point number 3 is add more MCT oil, or add MCT oil for the next couple of days. But for the next couple of days, you also want to try to keep your keto diet a little bit cleaner, meaning that you're not doing too much dairy, you're not doing too many processed items. You're sticking mainly to a lot of polyunsaturated fats, and saturated fats, monounsaturated fats. You're staying to the healthier fats. You're doing a lot of eggs, a lot of fish, a lot of fatty meats, vegetables, oils, specifically extra virgin olive oil, MCT or coconut oil or avocado oil, walnuts, and seeds. For the first, after when you have carbs, even if you didn't have carbs, those particular items that I mentioned, you want to keep those as part of your dominant keto approach. That's why you have in your pantry and in your fridge. So again, I'll go over those again. So you want to do things like like whole eggs. You want to be doing fatty meats, red meat, chicken, pork, those kinds of meats. You want to be doing oils like extra virgin olive oil, MCT oil, avocado oil, nuts, seeds, and vegetables. Of course, you want to have your vegetables in there. So that should be the main approach. That's not to say, of course, that you can't have other things, but that should be the main approach. Now, hence the main point of the video, which is the top 3 things to do. Make sure that for the next 2 or 3 days, along with the MCT oil, you are sticking dominantly, if not exclusively, to those fat sources. All right, so one quick bonus is, we could call it point number 4, I guess. But bonus number 4, it would be exercise, especially some type of resistance training. So again, because if you're doing keto, you're training your body to use fat for fuel. We've already established that. If you bring in some carbs, like we said with point number 1, it's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. That sugar is going to be stored, and your body's going to quickly get rid of it. And most likely, it's going to be stored in your muscles. So the best way to get rid of it quickly, so you can start burning fat again, is to do some exercise. So if you're going to have carbs, or you've already had carbs on keto, you want to time that, if possible, close to a day where you're working out, or the previous day we're going to be working out, so you can burn through that sugar a lot quicker. So weight training, or if you're doing a cardio class that has weights, that sort of thing, that would be great. Cardio, not so much, because it takes a little bit longer before your body gets through the before it can get to the carbs for them to be burned. But with resistance training, some type of weight training, your body's going to burn through that a lot quicker. So bonus point, or the bonus point is, make sure that you, if you can, if it's possible, add some weight training, some resistance training around that particular carb cheat meal. Alright guys, so hopefully that helped out as far as what to do after you had carbs on keto. Again, for if you want to see more keto content, more lifelong fat loss advice, that's what I'm going to be focusing on this channel. I'm going to start uploading more regularly. Make sure that you subscribe. The Keto series, I still have several more episodes that I want to upload, so watch out for those. I have a couple sample meal plans coming up as well, and just more advice on keto. So if you're doing keto, you're not alone. Just make sure that you subscribe so you can get the best advice and content with the subject.